I am honestly not expecting anybody to show up tonight, and that's just fine. But I did wanted to do something to reward the people that did want to look at this. We're probably only gonna be about a half an hour or so, maybe 45 minutes at the outside. But it's essentially just so you can get a little bit of plus onto your final grade. One thing I have noticed that I'm very impressed by in the last 2 weeks, a lot of you have been taking the time to go through, make sure first that things that hadn't been turned in are getting turned in. We're getting a lot of the um, uh, peer and self critique videos, and that is excellent. And several of you have been really brave. And even if you don't know if you're going to get full points, you've turned in what you have. And that is really, it is a really great start because some is better than none. And that is very good to see. I'm also really impressed. We have uh, 2/3 of people have already turned in their finals. We have 2.5 days left. So, well, 2.25 days left. Remember, those have to be turned in by midnight on Friday. And I won't be able to accept anything late for the final exam. And the people that haven't turned those in yet, I have sent a link directly to that assignment to them. I've emailed that to them. Now, if I did send, I noticed that I left the wrong page open, and I don't think I sent the wrong link out, but in case I did, uh, I just sent another email that I made sure has the right link for that final assignment. I'm going to email everybody tomorrow and then Friday as well to remind people not just about the final, because almost, like I said, 2/3 of you have taken that, but also to remind you, go through, make sure that what hasn't been turned in gets turned in. One thing I've noticed is several people do not have all the attendance things done. I'm hoping you see that in today's video. Please make sure that you turn those in because a couple people are missing enough that if they actually did it, they would raise their grade a half letter grade. So it would take it from a C plus to a B minus, which is not bad at all. And then you do that, tweak another assignment or two, and then add the 2% SRI on top of that, and that brings your grade up to a B. So yes, just saying that. Another thing I've noticed is that with the final assignment, everybody's being really very careful and articulate, and I really appreciate that. We do have a few self and peer critiques that have been turned in that I really appreciated. And I think I may uh, watch a couple of those with you just so you can enjoy them as well. And one person so far has taken advantage of the extra credit assignment. They actually used that extra credit assignment to get credit for watching an animated movie called K-pop Demon Hunters, and which you think on the surface of it, oh, that's ridiculous. Nobody's ever. But what this person did is they went through and they strategically and in a very articulated way applied the uh, tools of artistic critique to that and did an excellent job. I mean, they did a great job on that. So good job to that. There are several people that I need to, and you guys know who you are, but there are several people who have gone through this last week, turned in everything that has not been turned in yet, and have brought in some cases brought their grades from really low up to a B, and in other brought their grade up to an A. So excellent job, great work on that. That is really fantastic to see, and it is exciting to me to see all the things that people have turned in. So everything that I have received has been turned in. And I want to remind people that if you need to add to a discussion, that you need to email me directly because I do not get the discussion comments. There's no flag or anything that shows me that the discussion comments have been added to. Oh, hey, Emily.
I'm here.
I'm so glad you came. I have been rambling on for a little bit. I mentioned that I am very happy to say that two-thirds of everybody has already gotten their final done and turned in. I've graded that. Emily, you've done your final, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent, very good. And I was bragging a little bit because I've also noticed that this last week, 2 week, 1.5 to 2 weeks, right around there, a lot of people have been turning in several assignments and have brought their grades up significantly from really bad, like D and failing, to A's and B's. So that is awesome, and it is wonderful to see so many people right now are getting A's and B's out of this class, and it's because you guys put in the work and you've turned around and put it, submitted it, turned it in. So excellent work, very good. I'm glad you're here, Emily. I wanted to take some time and look at a couple of the um, peer and self critiques that have been turned in. And let's see if I can get to that. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so we'll watch a couple of those, and I want to just talk about them really briefly. There are still a few people that haven't turned those in yet. That will definitely help increase the grade. So I'd say as soon as you possibly can, whoever is watching this, go through and double check everything that everything's turned in. The percentage you have the percentages in front of you, guys. You have access to what's everything that's been turned in. Please make double sure that I have graded everything that you've resubmitted. Because from my end, I have, but a couple people have mentioned, oh, I added to this discussion, I added to that, and that was really important because that got them very important points. Your the most recent discussion, even if you haven't turned in your biomorphic abstraction piece with all the texture and color, go in and you'll get at least half credit if you do the assignment where you critique three other people's work. And the critiques that I've seen, everybody's been very careful and very thorough. A couple people, I asked them to just add to what they were saying, and they did, and it turned out really good. And I think another couple people still need to add a little bit. But other than that, things are looking pretty good. All right, so we share. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start this over again. Now, Emily, can you see this?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. Excellent.
commentary on how we interact with the environment, how we try to capture or recreate natural beauty using man made materials. Personally, the sculpture connects to me a sense of stillness and curiosity. It also reflects my interest in sustainability and using everyday materials in unexpected ways. There's a sense of transformation here, taking something cold and utilitarian and reshaping it into something expressive and organic. So is the piece successful? Technic I believe it is. Technically it stands on its own and accomplishes what I set out to do. But beyond that, it has emotional weight. At first glance, people see the shape and material, but after spending time with it, many begin to feel something more, a quiet tension, a sense of motion, and maybe even a little wonder. That's that's what I hope to achieve, that a piece made from such a simple material could still communicate something meaningful about nature, about fragility, and about finding beauty in unexpected forms.
All right. What did you think about that?
My uh, audio just kind of popped in the middle of it,
Oh,
so
really?
I caught the end. I didn't want to interrupt, so I sent a message, but I didn't want to make you
Oh,
have
and
to start over.
I didn't see the message at all. Okay,
Very
for the
good.
I I really hope that that's not the case for everybody. Um, I imagine it probably will be because I probably did not share it correctly. I am going to double check and make sure that I do a better job on this next one. But which part did you get? Which
I
part did
got
you get to?
her her interpretation and evaluation, I believe. So
Okay,
I think those parts were great. she did a she did a great job. Were these was this her work or not? Because I couldn't tell.
yeah, this is her work.
Okay, then she did great at not making it too personal, but I did figure that she had some connection to it since she said it. She saw in it her love of nature. So it seemed very professional.
Yeah, I thought she did a great job. And I again, I'm sorry that we missed the audio on the first part of it. Uh, what impresses me is that everybody, when they've done the self critique part, all of you have done a really good job at stepping away from that very immediate connection. And what impressed me about this one is she was one of the few people that used me and I talking about it, but she was still able to talk about it uh, from a very unattached place, which I thought was pretty impressive. Because as soon as we start saying I or me, it becomes a little bit too immediate to ourselves. And I thought she was able to keep a really solid balance. So that impressed me. All right, so let's do another one. And this time, Emily, if the sound is bad, would you say something out loud? Because I can't, I wasn't able to see when you said something.
Yep, totally.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My
Can you hear that, Emily?
Yep, I can hear it.
Okay, excellent.
name is Andy Losi. Today, I'd like to share my thoughts on a sculpture by Nicole Crimes from July 4th, 2025. And while the title of the piece isn't provided, we can still explore its form, texture, and emotional impact through a close visual analysis. Let's start with what we see. The sculpture is an abstract, non objective form. There are no literal or recognizable objects depicted. It's made from a foam material with a soft, minty texture, and rest on a similar colored base. The color is a dusted pink, which immediately sets a calm and introspective tone. The shapes are organic, rounded, flowing, and smooth, almost like softened pebbles or abstracted parts of the human body. The first thing that catches my eye is the way the forms interlock and wrap around each other. There there's no harsh edges or interruption. It feels like a continuous movement frozen in time. The sculpture invites you to look at it from all angles. It's dynamic and gentle at the same time. When we break down the formal elements, it's clear that Grimes has carefully balanced unity and contrast. The forms are different in sizes and direction, but they harmonize beautifully. The material choice adds to that effect. The matte surface and natural texture it gives it a tactical, almost inviting quality, like something you'd want to hold in your hands. The soft pink color reinforces the overall peaceful, grounded mood. As I spend more time with this piece, I begin to interpret on a more personal level. Though it's abstract, the sculpture feels deeply human. It evokes the body, maybe a torso or a limb, or even a quiet embrace. But it doesn't insist on one reading. It feels like a meditation on softness, vulnerability, and connection. I think one of the strongest aspects of this sculpture is its accessibility. It doesn't rely on complex symbolism or historical references. It connects with viewers through form, texture, and emotion. It's both formal and conceptual. Formal in its exploration of shape and balance, and conceptual in the way it invites reflection on the human experience. In evaluating the work overall, I have to say my impression deepened the longer I looked at it. At first glance, it seemed like a beautiful abstract form, but now I see it as something more, a quiet celebration of gentleness and complexity of form that speaks to feeling. I believe that this piece holds real value, not just in how it looks, but in how it makes us feel. It invites stillness, introspection, and a sense of connection, things we often need in our fast paced world.
I thought that this one was really good too. And I want to get back. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of this again. There we go. And this again is it. I'm not. None of these are easy for anybody to do. But what I was impressed with is that you can hear her go through the list of things, each of the tools and stuff like that. And she's very clear, she's very precise in what she was doing. It's obvious to me that she wrote this out and then edited it so it would say what she wanted to say, and then um, she timed it so it would fit the right time scale for this too. So I think she did a really solid job on this one. What's your takeaway, Emily?
Yeah, I think she did a great job using a lot of the terms, like more specific terms than just I like this and I like that, but made it very specific.
Yeah, I, and that's always really good to see. It can be a challenge to be specific, but when you are specific, it makes it very difficult to for anybody to combat with the things that you're saying. You know, when you're specific and precise, it lets people know that you really are paying attention. That was something that was kind of neat. One of the finals that I graded today, that was something somebody said that there was some art that we looked at that they didn't feel was really valid. But when they looked at it closely, using that lens of the tools of artistic critique, whether or not they still like that art, I mean, or change their mind about whether liking that art or not, they still felt that now they had an appreciation for the effort made, and had at least respect for the artist. And I thought that was really a good insight, because whether or not you like a medium, I think, or like a particular thing, is less important to me than giving a fair shake to the person who created it. Is that's what we want people to do for our work, and I think that's a really good insight to have. I wanted to also look through. Okay, in a little bit of time, Emily, I would really like you, if you wouldn't mind sharing your service project that you did, if you don't mind. Um, and before we get to that, I wanted everybody to look at what people have turned in so far for their uh, ultra sculptures. So I'm going to share that. Okay. And we're just going to go through. I'm not going to really comment a lot, but I wanted people to see what other students have done. The level of effort. This is one of my favorite ones. Well, I enjoy all of them, and some of them get really close to the description. Some of them miss the description a little bit, but all of them are really fun sculptures. So they all demonstrate real thought and real work. I really like the color scheme, the color schemes that this person used. I think, just as a piece by itself, this one's pretty satisfying to look at. I think I love just the subtlety of color that they worked into it. And I also wanted to share, these are really good comments. Most of you have done comments to this level, which I really appreciate. So the comments that they talk about, it's clearly description here, clearly analysis, clearly interpretation, and clearly evaluation. And this person did a really good job making those comments. And most of you did a really excellent job with the comments as well. And some of these sculptures really surprised me, because I've seen the original foam carving and stuff like that. And when you guys turn in what you do, it's always impressive. It's always pretty cool to see. Okay, and I wanted to share with everybody um, the service learning project. One of the big problems that I have had in the past doing this, I love making this available for you guys to do. I am I'm a service learning fellow here at the university, and so I love providing this opportunity for students. And I get it that when you're doing online classes, because you don't have the ease and simplicity of a normal life, and so when somebody is able to go that extra step and do the service learning element, it's always exciting to me. And we have had some really fun projects coming through. But I wanted to share this project with you that Emily did, because it is really meaningful. I mean, all service learning is going to be meaningful because you're doing stuff that only you can do. But I thought that this was really a fun one. So here we see the final result. And Emily, if you wouldn't mind uh, just talking us through everything, maybe 5 minutes or so, just letting us know what you did to get to this stage?
Totally. So, um, I work with special needs kids full time, and I've done that for 5 years. And the last two, I've had this client who really likes Disney and Pixar and all sorts of anime characters. They're kind of like they give him language because he doesn't communicate much through like reciprocal conversation like we do um, typically. And so when he wants to communicate something, often he does it through a script that he's learned on TV. And even when he's not trying to communicate, that's just kind of what he does to soothe himself, is just script his favorite things and look at pictures of them and of course watch them. And since I worked with him, it was kind of hard to connect with him at first because of how he does it. He's kind of in his own head a lot of the time. Um, and I found that he was, since I know I could tell what characters and shows he loved. Um, he responded when I either drew pictures of them for him or just like learned the scripts that he's already scripting and said them along with him. So I became one of his favorite people pretty fast after that, because he already would want his therapist to draw for him, but they didn't. They didn't always do it to his satisfaction. But when he saw that he had someone who could, he quickly told me what to do, and he had me draw a lot of pictures that have been um, put up in his wall, or he's had me draw little stories for him with his characters. And so we've had a really good connection because of his favorite characters and the art we were able to do together. And his parents have shown me that he's become more of an artist himself since working with me, since he kind of sees what is possible to do with pencils and papers that he has access to. And it's very fun to watch him draw because he's just so careful about it. um, so when this project came along, um, I thought about this doing a mural for them of his characters in his room because his parents had already joked around with me, but like for real, that they would love me to paint this for them, but they know I can't do that at the same time as I am his therapist. As a like, I can't be hired by them to do it because it's a
Right.
conflict of interest. Um, and so I uh, got it cleared with my company that I do therapy through for them, that I could do it as a volunteer project and there would be no conflict of interest. And so I offered that to them, and they were right away super excited. And like they couldn't believe that it went from like teasing me that they wanted me to do it to them actually getting it. So the parents were immediately excited. It's a little harder to tell the client what I'm going to do, so I kind of just like would point at different areas of his room and say like character names and see if he could figure out what I was talking about. But he got the gist after I came over and started drawing on the walls with I first I took some just like blackboard chalk from the dollar store and drew these pictures on the walls. And that part was pretty easy because I've drawn them so much for him on paper. The hardest part
Right.
was like doing them in a big scale and kind of feeling nervous that I would mess up their proportions. But luckily, chalk erases pretty easily. You just like wipe your hand over it, even on a wall. So that part took a couple hours. And then I did the white paint next, which was priming paint. And I was able to outline and like fill in the parts that I would be coloring because I tested it out a little bit. It's my first time doing a mural, so I wasn't sure how transparent or opaque the paint would be, but if I put like a yellow on that blue background, it turned green. And if I just put a red, it turned purple. So a lot of the time when I ran into problems like that, I went to ChatGPT. I was like, okay, someone has to have figured this out before me. So I asked ChatGPT what kind of paints to use that would work best. And then uh, they said they had some primer paints. We went and stirred it a little bit. And I was asking the internet, like, can I still use this paint if it's a little runny? And we stirred it and it worked out just fine. So that's the priming step that I did. And then the longest part was painting the colors. And I don't have like a full photo scanning like the whole room because it goes on multiple walls.
Right.
But I maybe I'll just like stand in his room tomorrow and take a very slow video moving around with my phone so you can see better because that's like the main wall is his favorite characters that I painted, and I used acrylic paints just like I got like a little bottle of like every color that Target had, and then they were on a vacation last weekend till uh, yesterday, or yeah, I think yesterday. So that's when a lot of this happened, the colors, because I found that it was hard throughout the semester to line up our weekends since I didn't have time during the week because I was doing full-time work and then school in the
Right.
evenings. And they most of the time were okay with me coming over Saturdays, but I also just had to get everything else that I didn't do during the week done on Saturdays. So this was
Right.
kind of like a big project that would have been great to have as the full-time job because it was a lot of work. So I was able to spend like a dedicated amount of time on it over their trip because they said I could come over any hour because they gave me their garage code. And I told them, I was like, if this was something I could do in the middle of the night, I would have gotten it done by now because that's when I'm able to work uninterrupted on most things. So they're like, you come over in the middle of the night for this during our trip. So I did spend a lot of time in their house while they're gone. And it made for a really good surprise when they came back because I told them before they came, make sure you record his reaction when he walks in. And there's such a cute video of him walking in, and also his mom and his little brother, because he didn't say anything. You could see all his reaction on his face when he's just walking in quietly, looking at everything, and then just like smiling really big. And his parents said he kind of just sat in his room for half an hour just staring at the wall, and then his little brother and his mom were just like going off in the background of the video of his brother being like, I want my room done too.
Oh, no.
I want all the villain characters. He's so funny. And his mom just being like, oh my goodness, look at this character's face, or oh look how silly this looks. Just like picking up on all the little details. And it was a lot of fun once I got going on the painting the colors part, because that's like I was able to get in a pretty good flow state of just like it's just like coloring. This is that was
Right.
the comfortable part. The hard part was that it was vertical, like on the wall. So I kept like leaning on the wall and then getting paint all over me if I wasn't careful. That I learned eventually, like if I'm working in one spot, then just like go back and forth between the characters so that areas have time to dry and I can not mess them up. And that part, and being careful not to drip paint on the floor because I had some dollar store like tablecloths made of plastic on the floor so that could catch any paint that dripped, but was still always careful not to put too much paint on the brush because of that. And um, yeah, I had a very good time. I would definitely do it again because of how much fun the painting part was. Now that I have figured out all the steps, but yeah, I was nervous going in because I was like, yeah, I know how to draw these characters, but I've never done something at this scale. But now I have, and I feel like I did a pretty good job because I had fun and they really like it.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. No,
Yeah.
and this is something that you found a need in the community. You were able to find a way to use your own specific skill set to meet that need. I think it turned out really well, and it's something that is obviously very impactful to the family that you did the service for. So that's excellent. I
Yeah.
One of my concerns when I see a project like this is last year we had somebody who thought, okay, well, I work with a group, we'll do a couple, I will design a couple stage sets for them, and I'll help them build one of the ones I designed. And they actually ended up getting roped into building all the sets for an entire production. And
Wow, I think you
you know,
mentioned that.
they yeah, and it was just, I mean, went from something that was enjoyable and building connections to just something that was miserably just drudgery. And it looks like a lot of the time that you spent was just learning, how can I get this to work? And
Yep.
I think that that's fantastic. I mean, you're able to solve a lot of real world problems. And again, you're able to use your past expertise to fill a real need that somebody very much
Yep.
appreciated you for. So yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. This turned out
Yeah.
to be a project bigger than what we had originally talked about, but it sounds like you don't mind that much because it sounds like you're
No,
very
I
happy.
did learn that maybe if I were to do it again, I would tell myself, don't draw so much so you don't have to paint so much. But I don't really regret it anyways because it looks really cool how big it is.
Yeah, that turned out. You solved a lot of issues, and I'm glad it was successful. These have a way of impacting people a lot more than we expect. There was one of the service projects happened during COVID, where it was just a small restaurant that was basically dead in the water because nobody was coming in. And this person had expertise doing custom painting of skateboards. And that's what they did for this person. And when because this person has been skateboarding and doing a custom stuff with skateboards for quite a while, she had a considerable social media presence. And almost immediately, the skateboard companies that had worked with her in the past knew what she was doing, started putting the word out about this restaurant, and a lot of different social media interests got very engaged. And by just painting one custom skateboard for this restaurant, putting it on their social media, it basically saved the family's livelihood and saved the restaurant. And stories like that I think are really amazing. So great job, Emily. And I wanted to reiterate too, I'm very impressed with how well you guys are doing in this class. And I'm so pleased to see so many things being submitted and so many people getting their final done. So please make sure that you double check that I've graded everything. Double check that I've graded all your resubmissions, especially when you've done submissions uh, for the discussions. And make sure you email me or text me to I'm sorry, email me or text me to make sure that I see your stuff if you don't see your grade change. So, but I really appreciate this semester. This semester has been remarkable. A lot of people have done really amazing. Well, everybody's done really amazing stuff. I think the only real problem that I've seen is people will do amazing stuff, but it doesn't quite fit what the assignment parameters require. And that's, so it's nothing on you as an artist because you guys are really solid. It's just not always getting exactly what we talked about in the assignment. And a lot of times we'll clarify that in the class discussion that is recorded. So I'm really pleased that people were able to see those and watch those as well. All right. Well, thank you very much, Emily. That is all I wanted to cover today. So it's a really short one. And if people want to watch this, it'll just be extra credit. Since this is finals week, nobody's going to get a zero for this one. So watch it if you can and send me 5 things and you'll get credit for it. So thank you very much, Emily. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful fall term and great rest of your summer.
Thank you. You too. I hope I see you around on campus sometime because I get to actually go do in person this semester.
Oh, that's great. In person, I think is really good and gives you a lot of really good experience and interaction with the instructors. The teachers here on campus, I think, are among the best in the state, easily with what they do. So I
Mhm.
hope you're able to avail yourself of that. All right. Well, thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And I look forward to seeing you around.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for making it an awesome class.
Thank you very much. All right.
All
We'll see
right.
you.